Hello, my dearly beloved family. How are you all doing? Thank you very much for your love and support as always. I really do appreciate. If today is the first day you are coming across this channel or you are seeing my natural face for the first time, I am Agatha Progress channel here on YouTube and I come across your way every blessed day. In this channel, we react to all videos, and in this channel, all opinion is highly needed. So this video you are about to watch, I don't know how you felt about this video, but I do hope you picked some sense from this video. All right, my wonderful family, why don't you carry your popcorn and let us digest this video? And don't forget, drop your opinion in the comment section and do well to share this video with your friends and family. All right, here is the video. Let us watch it together and I will be right back.
That the reasons for which you were kidnapped and deported to Yaoundé or to Douala will not die. We send a powerful message to our soldiers fighting in their different blocks that we are all together in this. That while you carry the gun, we have an instrument, a powerful one, collective one. Every Monday, we also send a message to the international community. There will be no 1961. There will be no vote to hell or vote to Golgotha. There will be Ambazonia, independent, with sovereignty resting in the people, with our people having the right in the land of their birth to determine the kind of economic and political systems that they will want to have, and to harvest their potentials in terms of human and natural resources for their own interests and for the good of all those who mean them good. We do not simply fight for an abstract political independence. We fight to establish a system within which we can institute an educational system that takes our kids from our homes, educate them within the context of their own social, political, and economic realities to survive within those environments and to be better citizens. We want to build an economic system that is not only for the powerful, where you don't simply die because you lack monies to buy Nivaquine for malaria, where you are not denied access to health infrastructures because you don't have money, where you don't simply live under the rain because you don't have the funds to build a roof over your house, that you don't live in squalor because your forebears weren't opportune to have established something better for you. We want to build a system where no one is ostracized because of the kind of jobs that they do. As I've said before, that the beauty industry in the world is one of the most powerful industries with billions of dollars, and that you are not stigmatized as a hairdresser because you create beauty, that you cannot simply repair your car in Europe for 20,000 amber, sometimes for 100,000 amber. But we stigmatize the engineers because they are specialized in ensuring that our cars are up to date. You drive a bus out here, you can own a house, you can buy a beautiful car, where we don't simply turn the taxi driver at home, the bus driver at home, and treat them with contempt and disrespect. We want to build a society where people are respected because they produce value. They can find jobs, where they can turn cassava into gari and export it in the next supermarkets somewhere far in Europe, where they can turn corn and preserve it, where you can harvest vegetable and export it, where you can have a sunflower, the tulip plant, and market it and earn a decent living and be respected within the community. That's the kind of society we want to build, where you can live in Bamenda and drive and walk in Victoria within 1.5 hours, because we build our infrastructure to make sure that, it becomes the engine for development. It becomes the engine for opportunities, that people don't simply die on our highways because they are abandoned by an occupying regime, and where the bounties of our soil give us the opportunity to build the biggest, longest boulevard on every backyard in Ambazonia. We fight to establish an economic system where if you don't work, you can receive unemployment benefits, where if you are going to school, you can have training in one of the highest tech industries, because that experience you gain through education will give you the opportunity to land the best job, not only in Ambazonia, but outside. We want to create a productive economy where we can invite foreign investors to come in, because we already have the cream of men and women who are trained by an educational system that does not discriminate for them to get the jobs that are far away from home. In the world of cyber opportunities, you can sit down there in Mutengene and do a job for someone in New York. You can sit there in Kwakwa and be able to create value somewhere in Afghanistan. That's why we fight. And only an independent Ambazonia, with its own government, its own institutions, designed in such a way that it can guarantee for us and the next generation these opportunities, is the solution. And I thank you all for your perseverance. I thank you all for taking the crap that we give you all the time, and that even in the face of perceived and constructed, schisms perpetuated by people who thought they were entitled to power, you have remained doggedly resilient. You've believed in the strategy. You've believed in the rejection of the tokenism that Cameroon constantly dishes out to you in terms of opportunities. You have rejected them. You've banded them into armor cars, which are brave fighters are blowing up in every corner. And you must continue to fight and defend Ambazonia until the last remnants of their forces are kicked out of our country. There will be no surrender. There will be no opportunity again for Cameroon to legitimize its political institutions in Ambazonia. The strategy we designed from the beginning was designed to delegitimize Cameroon, because we said political occupation is predicated on political legitimization of the institutions of the occupier. Delegitimize it by kicking out the DOs, their mayors, their governors, their senators. You did so. We also know occupation is predicated on economic exploitation and extortion. You shut down the economy for them. And I encourage you to continue to trade with Biafra. Reject Cameroon wholeheartedly. This is a country that has imposed a lot of pain on our people. And we will never have any day again to coexist with brutal rapists who have kidnapped our people and renditioned them into their own prisons. My fellow Ambazonians, it has been a difficult journey. No journey to freedom, no journey for justice has been easy. In every country whose people have stood up to fight for something more noble than what they have lived in, have gone through the same tribulations. Jesus Christ, who intercedes for us, was murdered by those whom he came to save. And so we must expect that it will happen to us. But remember, as I have said, those who plotted, schemed, and murdered Patrice Lumumba thought they were killing Lumumba. They killed the dreams of millions of Congolese, and more than 60 years later, they are still wallowing in misery. Those who murdered Thomas Sankara thought, they were killing the man. They were holding an idea and an ideal which would have saved Burkina Faso. Those who murdered the Martin Luther King, the Malcolm X, and all those freedom fighters, nationalist patriots who stood for something more noble than themselves, did this service to millions of people. And it's important for us to understand that those who perpetuate, those who preach hate, those who call for the assassination of soldiers, those who want our society to be divided between A and B, are doing no good to Ambazonia. We will have differences. Differences are natural in every family, in every society. It is not how we perpetuate those differences that make us better people. It is how we understand these differences and take steps to ensure that despite our differences, we can still work together, we can fight together, and we can be free as one people. My fellow Ambazonians, as I have said severally, Cameroon is a stubborn nation. It's a stubborn country. It believes in the use of force. It believes in violence in achieving political objectives. It's ruled by a group of old men who have engaged in massive corruption to enrich themselves. And Cameroonians themselves have been unable to overthrow an existing political system that has put them in shame. Their own nationalists, the NS Wangi, the Omunyobe, were murdered, and the country was handed over to the Ijos and Paul Biya, who looted the treasury and laid waste, to the coast of Cameroon. This is what we are facing. And we are not, as we have said repeatedly, against diplomacy. Diplomacy is a natural tendency for belligerents to be able to use, to find an understanding of intricate issues. But when you are dealing with a country that has shown itself for 60 years to murder students because they ask for universities, to kidnap lawyers because they ask for the reformation of a legal system, to dump teachers in jail because they want an educational system where their kids can learn in English, you understand on the big issues there will be no compromise from such a regime. And there is no wisdom in leadership in showing weakness in the face of all the evidence that is in front of us. For 60 years, they used diplomacy to manipulate the frontiers and the Endeles. And while one was fighting for Yaoundé, one was fighting for Abuja. No one had, the wisdom to look beyond themselves and say, this is what is good for us. Today we stand at the precipice, at the junction of opportunity, to stand firm as one people, to end the tyranny of Cameroon, or to buckle in the face of scams that are being paraded time and again from foreign capitals to make us fall in the same trap that our forebears fell into in the 1960s. When Cameroon will be ready, they will commit. We said from the beginning, when they call us 2 cubes of sugar, that when they will understand that we are not Cameroonians, when they will begin to discuss the possibility of the survival of their own state, because the very survival of Cameroon depends on the independence of Ambazonia. You've started listening to them having discussions. It's not for Ambazonia. It's about the survival of their own state. They have never been for you. They've treated you with contempt and disdain. Salute the bravery of a few of them who've spoken out early on. Cameroonians have begun to speak, but it's not for you. It's about the survival of their own country. Don't be tempted. It is time for you to increase the pressure. It's increase the funding of our forces. The assault on the last remnants of Cameroon's institutions in our country. It is time for us to increase our speed. Anytime you are on your race and you see the finish line right ahead of you, it is not time to begin to celebrate, because competitors will be going faster. It is time to speed up and reach the finish line. There are 2 ways to end this hostility. It all depends on Cameroon. Commit to meaningful negotiations supervised by a multilateral international system and present your surrender letter. Apologize for the murders you've caused, the pain you've imposed, and accept to pay reparations for all the thuggery and looting of our country. Or we will defeat you in battle and impose those conditions unilaterally. The choice is in the hands of Yaoundé. As for us, we have nothing to lose. We're born in misery, inherited misery. Most of us will die in misery. But we want to ensure that before we go, we leave behind something better than was given us. Fellow people, in the last days, you've been able to read the report of the United Nations, of the World Bank and IMF, about the political configurations of our struggle. I wrote the other day, the greatest achievement of my leadership and that of the Ambazonian Governing Council.
Keep praying for all freedom fighters that God should protect them. All hail Biafra.